Can I ask y'all a question? What if prison isn't justice? Not because people shouldn't be held accountable. That's not what I'm saying. Because they absolutely should. But because those two words have never actually meant the same thing. And I don't think most of us have ever stopped to ask why we use them like they do. So think about it. Every single time somebody commits like a horrible crime, we all say the same thing. I hope they get justice. And almost everybody knows what that means. Right. Arrest, trial, prison, long sentence. Boom, case closed. But when did we decide that those two words meant the same thing? Because history says that they didn't. Now, for most of human history, prison wasn't even the default sentence. If somebody stole from you, they might have to pay you back. If they committed certain crimes, they could be banished. They could be fined, whipped, executed. Now, I'm not saying any of those things were better, but I'm saying that prison wasn't always the answer, which means somewhere along the way, we decided that it was. Now, this is when I found something that I just wasn't expecting. The word penitentiary comes from the word penitence. The original idea wasn't just to punish people. It was to change them. The thinking was that if you isolated somebody long enough, made them reflect, made them repent, they'd leave a better person than when they came in. That was the promise. Now, ask yourself something. When's the last time you heard somebody talk about prison like that? Because today, most of us don't even expect rehabilitation. We expect punishment. Then I got to Reconstruction. And honestly, this is where the story stopped feeling theoretical. So slavery ends and 4 million people are emancipated. The South suddenly loses its labor system the whole economy depended on. So states start passing Black codes. Black Americans were arrested for things like vagrancy, loitering, breaking labor contracts. Things that suddenly become crimes when you need workers. Then they're convicted and leased to private companies. Coal mines, railroads, factories, plantations. Yo. If you've never heard of convict leasing, it's one of the most sinister chapters in American history. Because yes, the 13th Amendment abolished slavery, except as punishment for a crime. One sentence, one exception, one loophole. And I think that's the moment that this story kind of just clicked for me, This country didn't just build prisons. It built a culture where prison became the definition of justice. And those are two completely different things. Because prison answers one question. How do we punish someone? Justice, however, asks a much bigger one. How do we repair the harm? Those aren't always the same answer. So think about it. If prison automatically created justice, why do innocent people spend decades behind bars? If prison automatically created justice, why do so many victims still say they don't feel whole after the conviction? If prison automatically created justice, why does the country with the highest incarceration rates in the world still struggle with violence? Those questions don't mean that prison just shouldn't exist. That is not what I'm saying. They mean that prison was never supposed to be the entire conversation. I'm not arguing that dangerous people shouldn't be locked up, because, I'm asking something much simpler. When did we stop asking what justice actually looks like and start assuming that it always looked like a prison cell? Because history says those two words have never actually meant the same thing. And I don't know, I think it's just worth asking whether we've confused accountability with incarceration. Because if those two things are the same thing, the conversation ends with a guilty verdict. And if they aren't, then maybe we've been asking the wrong question all along. What do you think?